Hi friends, this is Carly and I'm back today with another manga review. So today I'm going to be talking about volume 2 of a book that I reviewed a couple of months back, I think. It's called Magus of the Library, and it follows a boy named Theo in a world of the future, or an enchanted world, in which librarians who are called Kafna, and books are sort of the ultimate guiding force in this society. So obviously this is something that I was really drawn to, and when I read the first volume I just absolutely fell in love and wanted to return to the second volume to encourage everybody to really pick up the first one, and with my fingers crossed that the second one would be just as good, and I was not disappointed. So here is the cover. This book is published by Kodansha Comics. And are we getting a good focus there? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. There are currently 2 volumes available. The third volume will be available on February 25th. You can get it on Amazon. I'll share links in the description to get the first 2 volumes of this book. And each volume is a really thick volume. It is based, this story, on a book called Kafna of the Wind, which I still have not picked up. It is by Sophie Schwim. And so I think this is probably going to be a pretty short finite series, although I will say I'm very hopeful about this being picked up for an anime or continuing on beyond what the source material provides, because the way that they put this story together is just absolutely rife for opportunity to expand on this universe and the adventures of the character of Theo and his friends, who are the people we can see are going to be going sort of on this journey with him, who we meet in this second volume. So as a quick recap, in volume 1 we learn about the world that Theo lives in. He is a half-breed. Everybody refers to him, everyone in the community that he is from is sort of dark-skinned. He is very fair-skinned, has blonde hair and blue eyes and pointy ears. So we don't get a lot of information in the first volume or the second about what he is a half-breed with, but we know that it is an undesirable race of some sort or another. He lives in the slums of the city that he is from, and in that particular city, the librarian will not allow the impoverished from the slums to use the library and read the books there. So we meet Theo in volume 1 sneaking into the library to read as much as he possibly can. He has the seemingly impossible dream of becoming a Kafna, which is a role typically preserved for women, very wealthy women, and they are the preservers of the central library, which is sort of Mecca for this society. It has every single book, and the Kafna travel the world preserving books, making sure that libraries are cared for, making sure that people have access to books, and that is Theo's ultimate dream. So after the first volume, when we're introduced to this concept, we move right into the second volume, where Theo has left his city and is going to the central library to take his Kafna exam. In the beginning of the book, we find out what happened to Theo after he left his city and sort of how he was able to survive, because he was very young in the first volume when he left. So that was a really sort of interesting piece of history. Then we go ahead and get right to the central library. He meets some new allies, the people who we sort of get the idea will be his crew moving forward, and takes the exam. And then we're just waiting to find out if he passes or not. So these sort of, the forward motion of the story here isn't really the main idea of what happens in this volume. The main part of the story is learning the history of the lands around him. We also get to see around the central library. And we also get to see Theo as he travels interacting with the people that he meets. So it's a really sort of interesting structure, and it's very lends itself quite easily to something like an anime and many, many volumes of this story in the future. So Theo comes to a town in one example and meets a girl who seems to just be racist for no reason. Her sister is marrying a man from another culture and she doesn't like it because she doesn't like that particular culture. So Theo starts asking some questions and stepping in to try to understand what's going on. And through a series of events and his knowledge that he's gained through reading, he's able to help this young girl understand a little bit more about her sister's fiance, sort of see where she went wrong, and sort of patch this breach between family members and help them move forward. And these types of episodes happen throughout this book, and they're really so sweet, so endearing. They tell us a lot about Theo's character and slowly but surely are revealing a little bit more about who he is, where he comes from, and why he wants to be a librarian to begin with. So I really like the way that they put these little incidents in. In addition to this individual stories that we get to see, we also get to see panels between stories like this that show us bits of the world that the story is taking place in. So we get to learn history of different lands. We get to see, you know, just little snippets of the story of the world that the story is taking place, that this tale is taking place in. So I really appreciate that because it really opens up opportunity for us to stick with this story in the future. I just really like the way that they give us, excuse me, a lot of information in very consumable ways. So the story itself of Theo, of what happens to him, what he's doing in pursuing becoming Kafna, is actually a very tiny bit of this story, and yet we have this thick volume full of interesting lore, fun relationships, problem solving, sort of learning bit by bit about his character, and it's really just so satisfying to read. So at the end of this volume, I absolutely cannot wait for the third one, and I may follow up with this again, but really I just want to hear from those of you who pick up this story and what you think of it. I'm going to be keeping my ear to the ground and paying really close attention to news and you know, anime and manga resource sites to find out if there's a series of this coming. I'm so hopeful for that. The figures, if you're a collector, would be incredible. I think that this series could go on for a long time beyond what we're given in the source material, which I am also going to pick up and hope to be, if it's worth reviewing, I'll definitely be reviewing that as well. So that is a very brief overview of my experience with Magus of the Library Volume 2. I really, really enjoy this story. I love how books, librarians, and libraries are sort of the epic heroes of this story, and that is just something that's really right up my alley. It has a really nice desert sort of Middle Eastern, Aladdin, Alibaba type vibe, which I really like. It's beautifully done. The design of every character and their costumes is elaborate and fits the story. It's beautifully done, and it really just leaves me wanting more of everything. So with that said, I will definitely be continuing Magus of the Library. I would love to hear if any of you have read it or decide to read it because of this review. I will be sharing links in the description to buy all of the volumes and pre-order Volume 3. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this review, these books, and any other recommendations you have in this vein that you think I might enjoy. Thank you guys so much again for watching my video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, turn on your notifications. I do videos often, and I will keep you guys posted on what's coming up here on my channel. Thanks so much, and don't forget to go to annoyingyouwithfriendship.com for more reviews, blogs, and videos. Have a great day. Thanks, friends. Bye.